what it was. Y'all know who it is. And you tuned in with Priceless Knowledge Yourself. And I figured I'd bring y'all another dose of this cosmic insight this afternoon. And say, man, we're going to continue on with this Mars series. But in doing so, we're going to kick it cardinally and even bring it all the way home. So this right here, this a little something about those people that have Mars and Aries in their natal chart. And before I can even get to these aggressive motherfuckers, you already know what I'm going to have to do first, even if it gets on your nerves. I'm going to give y'all a little bit about Mars in astrology and also bring y'all a little breakdown about the sign of Aries in astrology. So I guess it ain't nothing to it but to do it now, huh? What is Mars? Mars is the fourth planet from the sun. It rules the first house in the sign of Aries and to a lesser degree the eighth house in the sign of Scorpio. And as I told y'all earlier, it definitely comes into our chart and commands us to action. It represents energy, passion, drive, and our inherent sense of determination. It really commands us to stand up, be noticed, and get some motherfucking shit done. And, you know, being a wallflower, that ain't what Mars is about. That belongs somewhere else. It rules over the military, but more simply put, it speaks to the confident expression and the powerful expression of each one of us individually. Ambition and competition fall under this umbrella, you know, and whether it be at work or at play, Mars encourages us to be at our best when facing challenges. It's confrontational and masculine energy. In a birth chart, it represents our sense of aggression and even the way that we aggression coming from outward projected situations or people. And it could be a big indicator of sex drive, especially in males. But I say really more than anything else, it speaks to the way that people move. It's about the way they get down. You know, it's about the way you act. You know, for me, for instance, I have Mars in Capricorn, right? And a lot of people say you act like your daddy. Well, my daddy has a moon in Capricorn. So, you know, you can always tie astrology into those type of things. But anyway, wherever Mars shows up in the chart, it's really going to speak to how we assert ourselves physically and channel our aggression in this life. And so what's the sign of Aries? Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It rules over the first house of self. It's ruled by Mars and it rules over the head, and its symbol is the ram. And for me, its mantra is, I am. I didn't mean that to rhyme, but it did though, huh? Say, this cardinal fire, y'all. And this energy likes to be first in all things. Aries is the leader of the pack and it's always first in line to get shit cracking, man. It ain't scared of shit. But actually seeing shit through to completion, not so much, man. This energy prefers to initiate rather than complete. It's all about rallying the troops and heading head first into battle. Aries oozes personal magnetism. It ain't shy or timid. It's bold and in your motherfucking grill. It's pioneering and the epitome of strength and competitiveness. Wherever Aries shows up in the chart, I'm going to tell you now, it's going to bring a jolt of energy and dynamism and really bring about the dawning of a new day if you allow it to. Okay? So what happens when Mars comes home in Aries and it's in your natal chart? Well, they be ready to slap the shit out of people at all times. No, I'm just playing. But I will say that from Jump Street, the first thing that you need to know about these motherfuckers when dealing with them is they are about that life. And that means whatever the fuck you trying to do, you know what I'm saying? In any way, form, or fashion, fighting, fucking, whatever, they about that action. They about that action, man. They about that action. And I could quit saying right now, I could quit the video right now or be being said enough, but hey, I'm gonna keep going deeper with you though. They always hit the ground running, but they don't always necessarily make it all the way to the finish line, because while this energy is extremely competitive and confrontational, it usually works with the intense burst of activity and energy that kind of fizzles out pretty quickly. You know, they gonna get mad real fast and trip out, but if they don't knock you out in that first couple of blows, you might be able to get with them. But I don't advise you fucking with nobody like that. You know, I'm just fucking with you. You know, Mars is in his dignity here, and being here at home in Aries, it's gonna make these motherfuckers super forceful and aggressive sometimes, really all the time, or most of the time at least. But either way, they're going to often appear on fire with a new plan, and they shine in roles where the job is to be the catalyst. And they're going to steam with passion as they go into action mode. And even when other motherfuckers try to urge them to express caution, they ain't going to give a fuck, man. When it's on and popping with them, it's on and popping, and it ain't no going back. And they love it like that. It won't be any regrets. There won't be any regrets. Matter of fact, their fearlessness and impulsiveness and lack of attention to details is probably going to make a lot of motherfuckers nervous or even fearful for them at some point in their life, man. And if you have a Mars and Aries kid, like the daredevil shit they do, the way that they get into shit, like it's going to be a struggle with you, man. Just to you trying to help them survive till they get grown, you know. But they're fierce and they'll make it. Because the toughness that they develop by running headfirst into these situations, it really will help them later on in life. Pardon me. I also say that a lot of Mars and Aries people, not only can they be triggered easily, they know how to trigger other motherfuckers. And in this culture that we live in, that can definitely lead to some extra shit if we ain't mindful of what the fuck we doing. You know, there are going to be a lot of times in this existence that some uptight ass motherfucker is going to decide that the Mars and Aries individual is too headstrong and try to jam them up. And that's only going to make the ram go even harder until the other motherfucker realizes that they can't stop this person. This is an unstoppable force. You understand that? They can't stop him. And just like if a Capricorn or Mars and Capricorn like myself or something's going to try to restrict them or discipline them, they're not with that either. Because what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? We still don't know, do we? You know? So I will say that, like, a lot of the times the person that's trying to restrict the Mars and Aries person, they're doing it out of fear of the raw strength and leadership that emanates from these people. And when we come to things of a more sexual side, this is passion personified, y'all. This is, don't talk about it, be about it. You know, if you wasn't trying to fuck, why the fuck you call me? You know, pulling hair, smacking ass, you know what I'm saying? Deep digging, but stay about your feelings type energy. You know, do I really need to say more, man? Do I need to say more? Don't talk about it, be about it. You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't trying to fuck, why the fuck you called him? Because they coming through like a wrecking ball. And it's gonna be, you know, in short, the ultimate physicality. The ultimate physicality. So, if you got you one, I wouldn't doubt that you probably in shape. Cause they stay ready to work that ass out, huh? They are going to want to fight hard and fuck even harder, man. That's their bag. So that's what it is on that. You know, moving on. Aries Mars motherfuckers can really be a thorn in the side to controlling people though. But their ability to get shit done quickly at the same time and their magnetic personalities is going to make them dynamic leaders. Cause really that's what they were made to do. They ain't made to follow orders or do what the fuck you tell them to do. And if you try to control them, you just the same liable to get your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Because if they ain't in charge, it's always going to be contemptuous. That's always going to cause an issue in itself, y'all. Cause really they have an extremely argumentative nature. And even more so, they pretty much the epitome of confrontational. And when it gets past the point of talking, you know what I'm saying? They going in your mouth. They're going in your mouth. And you better be about it. Because if not, you're getting your ass whooped. So you need to assess how you addressing the situation when dealing with them and act accordingly. You know, a catch-22 to all of that is, you know, they don't hold grudges. So, you know, when it's over with, it's over with. It's a dead issue for them. But the catch-22 is, for a lot of us, you know, we still fucked up when it's over with. And we harboring resentment towards that motherfucker that just served us a fresh ass whooping. And Mars and Aries done moved on with their life. They're on to the next battle. So maybe we need to work on it. They need to work on it. I don't know. But maybe we just not need to get into any physical confrontations like that anyway. Because we all grown, right? We all evolved, right? If we can't talk about it, then we can just stay the fuck away from each other, right? I'm just saying. You know, I will say that with this physical energy and this aggression they have, the best outlet for them is going to be strenuous physical activity and competition. Boxing, MMA, football, hockey, fucking. All of this shit is positive outlets for them. All of it. Even stuntmen in movies and shit like that. Something to harness all that raw aggression that they're born with. My advice for those that are born with Mars and Aries is y'all gotta find some way though to become disciplined in your actions. That impulsiveness is gonna cause you trouble at some point in this life, y'all. You absolutely can't run headfirst into every motherfucking thing if you really want to live very long on this plane of existence. And also, you know, let's be mindful that we're not leaving a trail of scorched people and burn bridges in the wake of our lives due to the fire that we bring in, you know what I'm saying, and our own impulsiveness and running over people and stepping on people or whatever the fuck we got going on, man. That ain't what this is about. Aries is the sign of self, Mars and Aries, but that don't mean you have to be selfish. Hey, man, there's been some priceless knowledge yourself. If you're fooling with me, please like, share, subscribe. I mean, do it. Even if you ain't fooling with me on that type of level, hit that button and let me get out there and help somebody else. If you're interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below or email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And say, man, remember, just because you build like that don't mean you have to build like that. You can leave that negative shit alone. Kill it. We talking about growth here. That's what I'm talking about. And if you ain't talking about growth, then you might just need to tune out of my channel, and I'm okay with that. Even if I ain't got that many subscribers or what the fuck I got going on. I'm trying to grow with you. And I won't go backwards. Okay? Say, man. Either later on tonight or in the morning, we're going to talk about this grand conjunction that we going on. You know what I'm saying? Also with this moon in Pisces. You know, I got a moon in Pisces, so I'm feeling it. You know, I'm feeling good, looking good. How y'all feeling? But anyway, we also going to get back into that moon series tomorrow. We got a lot going on tomorrow. And as I said before, if you're waiting on a natal chart reading, it's coming to you, man. Y'all have a good one.